Okay guys, this is the Becker BK9. We originally did a video a little bit after we bought it, and we've owned it for about 2 or 3 years now. But in this video I wanted to discuss, even though we like it, a lot of people have these wild fantasies that this is the end-all be-all. You can survive on Naked and Afraid and build a cabin and just do everything with this knife. And while it is pretty good, practical, whether it's self-defense or processing firewood. So I have about an 8-inch log here, which I understand some people say, oh, I wouldn't cut something this big. But I just wanted to demonstrate the misconceptions some people have of choppers. So one thing a lot of people don't talk about in a survival situation is the desire to preserve your calories and do as little as work as possible. But a lot of these knife reviews that we watch on YouTube, people are expecting to build some log cabin in the woods, and using a knife of this sort, not only would it take you about 10 years to build a cabin, but you'd starve long before that time. So like I said, this is about 8 inches down. I don't know the exact type of wood, but it's some type of hardwood. And I'm not going to chop all the way through, I just want to prove to you a point. So I've been chopping for probably about a minute now, and as you can see, I've gone about 2 inches down into this 8-inch log, and the deeper I go, the wider it gets, if that makes sense. And I'm a fairly healthy young person with pretty good stamina, and even this is kind of tiring me out. Now it's a fun exercise, and you can use it as a test, I guess you could say. You could use it as a test of the knife, but when it comes to a survival situation, planning on doing this 24/7, even for an hour straight, you'll probably burn a couple hundred calories. Now, what a lot of people don't talk about is calories. When you're calorie limited, kind of like a savings account or some type of account, once you lose a job, there's no replenishing that amount. So you want to use those calories as little as possible. So I understand why people do the tests, is to test the knife. And that makes sense, but it's just not a prudent strategy, a prudent survival strategy. Like I said, some people will say, oh, it's to test the knife. You're not testing it in a practical application. Some people say it's fun. To me, I can find 100 things that are more fun, but maybe you don't go to a gym on a daily basis and you just want a way to release some energy. I mean, maybe that's a good plan. Maybe post SHTF, it's a really stressful environment. Maybe you just want to release some stress and, you know, whack on a log. But I could find you, 10 better things to do with your time and your energy. So with that being said, there are advantages to having a tool in your bug out bag that you could do some impromptu chopping with. But you know, it's like I said, a good way to release energy and burn calories, but in a calorie limiting world, um, that's kind of an exercise for failure. So now, just as an example, I'll use this 4-pound felling axe. Now, I understand, and you guys will understand, this is a lot heavier than that, but if your primary purpose is doing this chore that a lot of you guys love, maybe it's better to use a proper tool. So I'll just continue chopping where I was before, and I want to show a couple of things that I will chop quicker, but in my opinion and in my experience, I think I'll burn less energy and get less winded. So it probably took me about the same amount of time to cut all the way through this than it did to cut a little 2-inch groove using the Becker. So again, I understand this is heavier, but just something to keep in mind is it burned less calories. I felt safer doing it, and I felt more efficient. And because of the longer handle, you're moving your body away from the blade. So if I was to miss, it would just hit the ground. But using this, you feel pretty powerful. You don't feel like you're just, you know, using a little drinking straw and hitting it on a cup or something like that. So this probably weighs 5 pounds and the Becker weighs 1 pound, but I think this cuts more than 5 times as fast. So just something to keep in mind. Like I said, it's bulky. It's hard to carry in a bug out bag, but maybe you could carry this in your vehicle, because most likely you'll be using your vehicle far before using your feet when you need to bug out. At least if you're smart, that's what you'd be doing. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up below. If you haven't yet, go back to our homepage, watch some of our videos. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.